Welcome, Josh here with Low Expectations, and who we have here today?
Hi, I'm Matt. I've been playing the game just about 7.5 months, so relatively new. And I just got top 8 at the Remote Duel Regional on Saturday.
Ah, sick. Wow, that's impressive. 7-8 months in, already getting top 8s now, huh? What were you playing at the event?
I was playing Spright. Pure Spright with the Melffy package.
Just pure Spright.
Pure Spright with
not any of the runic live twin stuff that
Nope.
people like Joshua Schmidt are on or anything like that.
I can agree that it's probably the better version of the deck. However, it's really not my playstyle, so I prefer this version of it.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's get on into it then, huh?
All right, so for main deck monsters, the standard 3 blue, 3 jet. I did opt for 2 carrot. This didn't come up yesterday, but has come up in my testing. 1 red.
Is it just that spells and traps are a little bit more impactful, or?
Yeah, so normally you're trying to negate a key spell more so than a trap. I mean, with Lab running around though, the traps actually come up. You also, if you have starters or double cross set, it's nice to have at least a carrot in the grave and 1 still in deck versus on the field. So if they try to imperm, like if they go to evenly, you have the response to go double cross it back. And then if they imperm it at that point, you still have to follow up with starters to grab it and you still don't get evenly.
Awesome. Okay.
1 pixies. This came up quite a few times. They would go to battle, double cross back blue, add pixies, and it kind of puts them in a weird situation of forcing to swing into it, knowing that you have that in hand.
It's also a good way to protect your stuff and to get rid of problems.
Exactly. Just the standard, 2 card Melffy combo, 1 penny, 1 caddy, 2 angler, 3 beaver, 1 soul scissors.
Soul scissors. What's got you on this one?
In testing, it has resolved a couple times in a pivotal game state where just getting rid of that body actually matters. I have forgotten to resolve it in testing, which is unfortunate, but that made me never forget to resolve it yesterday. And it did come up where I did get to eat a bell because they were worried about their dude being popped, and it would have put them in a weird situation, which allowed me to proceed with my combo on my turn uninterrupted.
Awesome. Okay.
3 Fenrir. Generically good card. Special summon Fenrir. Do your normal combos. An extra piece of interaction. Can't go wrong. 3 Ash and 3 Droll.
Awesome. So you are still on the Droll then, right?
I still am on the Droll. I played mostly Lab yesterday, so I did end up siding it out most of the time. However, in the Spright matchups, it did come up. It wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be, as Spright still can play under Droll. It just puts them in an awkward situation. I'm thinking about changing these to either Bell's main or cutting it down to 2 Drolls. Testing will tell if that's going to be relevant in this format.
Okay. Are there any other hand traps before we move forward?
Yeah, so the only other hand trap would be the 3 Imperms.
Okay. And these are just the most impactful ones for you right now in the format?
Yeah, unfortunately Book exists in the format right now, so a lot of things can dodge Imperm, but I'd kind of rather... the same thing applies to Veiler, and I'd kind of rather play the Imperm under the notion of Triple Tactics Talents is in the format right now, so if they're going to dodge it, I'd rather also not have a card eaten from my hand.
Okay. Alright, so move on to the spells, I guess?
Moving on to the spells, pretty standard. 1 Smashers, 1 Gamma Burst, 2 starters as far as the in-Spright engine pieces.
Sad only 2.
Sad only 2. Actually, didn't hurt as bad as anyone would think. If you're resolving the 3rd or attempting to resolve the 3rd at that point, you kind of didn't have enough life points to do it anyway before, so cutting it to 2 really didn't hurt that bad. It does change its consistency rates though, which is unfortunate, where if you really needed to pot of prosperity and dig for it because you didn't have a combo in hand, it does hurt at that point. Continuing on with the spells, 2 Triple Tactics Talents, 2 Book of Moons, and 3 Pot of Prosperity, speaking of.
All right, so those are pretty standard. The Book of Moon is kind of interesting right now.
Yeah, so the idea is, like I was saying before, you can dodge an Imperm or a Veiler. It did come up once yesterday where I did resolve it with... Someone tried to Veiler my Gigantic, and then I dodged that by booking it. So it still got to resolve, and that led to a full combo to a game situation.
And it's interesting to see that you're still on the Gamma Burst. Is that just required for lethal now?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily required for lethal. There's two major lines, being the Gamma Burst or the Mosquito. It's just a matter of what they have and if you can physically get over it with the Gamma Burst. There is, like, if it's a clear board state, you just kind of summon 4 or 5 dudes, punch for a game. So it's not like required. People also forget about the secondary effect of it, which comes up where it's engrave and you can banish it and add 1400 to one of your level 2s, which has come up.
I've literally never seen that resolve.
I have resolved it, and it does come up, and people really often forget about it, which makes it very impactful when it does resolve.
Awesome. Okay.
And then moving on, we have one last piece of trap, and that would be the star player of the day, Spright Double Cross.
This card is disgusting.
This card is the most versatile in the deck. You take a dude, you can attach a dude as material or reborn something from your grave. So if you're starting to run out of material in hand, you can double cross back a blue, grab pixies for that better habit situation. You could double cross back a jet and grab starters for follow up on next turn. There was one situation yesterday where my opponent targeted Gigantic with Valor, and I double crossed my Gigantic under Onibimaru to resolve the effect of Gigantic, to then go for a Gamma Burst game situation.
That's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. How many cards you got in main board?
42.
42?
42 in main.
Meaning of life. All right. Extra deck.
Moving on to extra deck. Pretty standard. 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Spright Sprint. Those are the non-Xyz monsters. Moving on to the Xyz. 2 Gigantics, pretty standard. Some people are opting to run the 3rd. However, I don't think with Kashtira as strong without Diablosis right now, the 3rd is necessarily required. Also, after you kind of resolve the 2nd one, you don't normally have enough material left in deck for it to be relevant anyway. 1 Onibimaru, 2 Zeus, 1 Sky Cavalry Centuria, 1 Downard, 1 Ninja Shadow Mosquito. Key player in the day, won me so many games in lab matchups where, because it's non-targeting, it can place that counter, and then you just swing with 3 dudes for game because Lady is 3K.
Real quick before we move forward, what's still got you on the Sky Cav?
It's a non-targeting bounce. In matchups like Branded, where it actually matters to get rid of the Mirror Jade without sending it to grave and having your whole board blown up, there's also a lot of non-targeting monsters or monsters that can't be targeted due to effect that become problematic cards throughout the matchup. So it is a situational card where you can make it as a form of non-targeting bounce to remove a problem card.
Okay. So
1 E Purely Plump.
6 material Zeus is good.
Makes a big Zeus. 1 Mannequin Cat and 1 Melffy of the Forest.
Pretty standard. Pretty standard. So that's 15 extra. Let's go to our sideboard.
Yep. Moving on to sideboard. We have our time card, Red Resonator, searchable off Gigantic. Everyone knows that play. Also, in these situations where they Astra Gigantic, you get to make Mannequin Cat, and then summon back their Ash and get it anyway.
That's hilarious.
3 Magnamut, 1 Druis Worm, mainly for lab matchups, for branded matchups, and D-Link, as they're all cycling materials from grave. You just get to remove the material before they get a chance to recur.
Well, and for Mathmech too, right? Or did you not see it really?
I didn't really see Mathmech yesterday. I'm not saying it's not a relevant deck right now. People are still just trying to kind of resolve it with the hits recently. It's still really relevant. We know someone topped with it at a regional that we were just at, and it's still a very strong deck, but this just unfortunately didn't really come up in that case yesterday.
Gotcha. Okay.
1 Change of Heart, 3 Solemn Judgments, 3 Evenly Matched, 2 Lightning Storm, and a Feather Duster.
Definitely making sure the back row dies. Why the 1 of Change of Heart?
The 1 of Change of Heart, so in mirror matches, you take their Gigantic, go full combo. And any other relevant, you take one of their big dudes, and then you just get to link it off for sprint and go into a play if you have a level 2 monster. Also, if you take like Kashtira's Fenrir or something, it removes that piece of interaction, or you could just straight up take their Arise Heart, and it gets rid of that ability for them, and then you can just make Zeus over it in second main.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool beans. Is there anything else? Any shout outs or anything?
Yeah, shout outs to Team Low Expectations. Josh got me into the game. Angel helped teach me the ropes. Mike as well. Kevin has been helping me playtest this deck for months. 90% of this list came from him, and he's been helping me out with it ever since.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add about the list then, if you've been helping him for months, or?
Nothing really. We had like a 3-card difference. I think he was on 3 Duel, I'm on 2, and I was playing Valor, but overall, our lists are basically the same. And
Okay.
I'm just glad somebody did well with the deck.
All right. Well, awesome. Thank you for joining us, and remember to like and subscribe.